Berryessa to turn on. Nate Kelch, Big Nate's guide service, goes over there once a week all summer trying to figure it out. You cannot find the trout. Everybody is worried. He went over, of all times, last week on the Labor Day with a couple of friends, found him, and you'll hear the rest of the story right now. Nate, you go over to Berryessa all summer long, at least once a week, trying to figure out what has happened to the trout fishing over there. You're persistent as any guide I've ever known, and guess what? It finally paid off. What, the beginning of this week or last week?
It did. We just, on a whim, you know, I didn't have any days this week really to have time to go out there and scout at Berryessa. But I talked to my brother and my daughter, and they want to go fishing. I'm like, shoot, let's go to Berryessa. So we did, and it paid dividends, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, tell me what happened.
Well, we got out there, and once again, it was the same old story that I've been experiencing for the past 2 months out there. We got out, and we're trolling, and nothing's happening. I mean, 2.5 hours in. Still no bites, no nothing. Usually we'd at least pick up a bass or two in the first couple hours, but we didn't. And then all of a sudden, we found the bait, we found the fish, and it was doubles for probably about an hour and a half, and you know, until we were done, and we got out of there, and I got online and I posted on Facebook, Berryessa's back, and I've been out there every day this week, and we had limits all week long.
Unbelievable. Just like that.
Just like that.
So I want to ask you, at what depths were you trolling when you were not successful all this time?
Well, Bob, I was going out and I was running lines on side planers, you know, with like 1 or 2 ounces of weight. So I was fishing anywhere from 10 feet all the way down with the downriggers down to 80. I was running it through bait. I was running it not through bait, under, on top, in the middle. I did everything I could, and you know, we were crushing some big bass up to like 5-6 pounds at times for the past 2 months. But I'm getting nothing chrome. I mean, nothing. No trout, no kings, no kokanee, of course, because the kokanee, well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But just nothing. And then just like a light switch. The temperature in the water dropped about 5 degrees, and the fish showed up, and they were much higher than I had anticipated. Everything was from the surface down to about 35 feet.
And you couldn't buy a fish at that depth for months.
For months. I mean, couldn't see them. Just the craziest thing. You know, this lake is so much different than any of the other lakes around. It just fishes different times of the year. And, you know, September's always been a great month for trout and kings for us out there. And this year seems to be the same. It's game on.
So, okay, now you're fishing in the top, so basically 10 to 30 feet, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, 8 feet on down to like 37. I think we got one today at like 40.
Okay. And what are you using? What are you using down there
this week? We're running Optimizer spoons. Has been probably number one. Followed up with trophy sticks and Rapalas. Straight stick baits that you can run from 3 to 4 miles an hour, and we're keeping everything between like 3.3 and 3.5. And you know, a lot of the times we get hit on the turns. So when you get hit on the turns, the outside rod's been the one that's going, and that one's probably going close to 4 miles an hour. So
yeah.
You know, I'd say, you know, if you keep your presentations between 3 on up to 4 miles an hour, you got a good chance of success.
Of course, you got to have the right lures, and you have the right lures with those.
You do.
So that's interesting. So you're catching fish in the 3 to 5 pound range.
That's on the larger end of the spectrum for sure.
Okay.
Average is probably, you know, 1.5 pounds on up to 2. And then, you
still
know,
a nice fish, though. Still a nice fish.
These fish are nice bright chrome fish. Beautiful meat on them. Full tails, you know. They're just gorgeous fish. These Eagle Lake trout that we've been getting are just they're awesome.
Any particular area of the lake seem to have more fish than another, Nate?
Every single day they've been somewhere just a little bit different. I'm finding that the shorelines and the area that you want to fish is where the wind is blowing the bait to that day. The wind changes directions out there a lot. You've got to watch it. If you see that the wind changed direction, move. Go straight over to where the wind's blowing, because that's where it's blowing the bait, and that's where the fish are going to go. But the main body, out past Big Island, the flats, Ranch House, I think there's fish probably everywhere. It's just a matter of using your electronics, making sure that you find the bait before you start fishing. If you don't see real dense bait balls, to where it just kind of just litters the whole top 30 feet, don't bother, because there's no fish in it. The real broken up bait balls have nothing in them. And those are all over the place. So you really gotta watch your electronics, trust them, make sure that there's a ton of bait on the graph, and keep your presentations in the bait.
That's Nate Kelch.